This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
He has time.
He's got him. Side touch is there. Leaping grab. Touchdown. Touchdown.
Good morning. There we are. Guess it's just me right now. Oh my goodness, it's a Friday morning. Thank God the week is over. We can start talking about, I don't know, camp. No good rumors today either. The league has been quiet. Let's see if we've got anything. Obviously, people are trying to talk Kittle. There is some Jair Alexander news today, however. He would prefer a release over a trade. He doesn't want the Packers to trade him. He's like, just release me. Which, interesting. Interesting. Oh, there's the Broski Bear. Good morning, Broski.
Morning, Ken. How you doing today?
Oh, it's Friday. We are getting some sleep here throughout, so it's not too bad.
Good, man.
Wife with the knee surgery, so it's like, changing ice packs and all that good stuff.
Yeah, that's it takes time to rehab. I mean, it's one of those things too. I mean, my dad got both his knees essentially replaced. I've known a ton of people that do it. The ones who slack on their rehab, they really regret that years down the road. So be on top of that rehab is my only advice.
Yeah, with my wife, that's not a problem. She's going to do more than she's like, they're like, you can take 10 steps, she'll take 15. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I won't have that problem. I'll have that problem because she'll overexert herself a little bit, and then I'll have to hear about it.
Yeah.
So, it's been that kind of thing, and the league's been pretty quiet. It's pretty quiet football-wise. I just saw the one article on Alexander. Basically telling Green Bay, don't trade me, just release me.
Yeah, that's a messy situation, and I think Green Bay is going to regret not drafting a cornerback in the first round, honestly, which I thought that was the way they should go. But, if they're banking on they were banking on Alexander, actually playing for him this year, then they thought wrong. So, I mean, I'm not impressed with that golden pick. I'm not. I was out on him going into the draft. I wasn't very impressed. So we'll see how that plays out. What I'm interested in, and I'm really glad that they're actually coming out and saying this, is about Ozzie Trapillo possibly starting at left tackle. I know that seems out of the blue for some, but like for me, he'll be 24 years old in October. He's played a ton of football. I'd really like to have a 6'7" or 6'8" left tackle. So hey, let's have some comp. Let's have three guys. Let's have three guys compete for the starting job and let the best person win. If Braxton comes in and he's looking like a beast, he's a stud, then hey, Braxton wins it. But having another young, tall dude in there to compete for it is a good thing.
Yeah, I like Braxton. He's done extremely well, especially for where we drafted him.
Yeah. If he earns it, he earns it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let the best person win. I like the fact that there's someone else other than Kieran and Braxton competing for that spot,
Yeah, Kieran's definitely more of a project from what we saw last year. Maybe we know the kid's smart. We know the kid, he had some injury issues last year, but I mean, I like that we actually now have like a log jam at left guard or left tackle. That's new, right? Because before
No, I'm sorry. Continue.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like, looking back on it, I mean, I can't believe the Bears passed on Tyler Warren at 10, and I still love their first 4 picks, like, so much. Like, dude, they knocked it out of the park with their first 4 picks. I really feel that way. Like, Shamar Turner can play right away, and if you look at him, he's like the exact same size as Grady Jarrett, pretty much. Same kind of like twitchy, athletic, violent, aggressive player with an attitude problem too. So, and the Trapillo pick, man, this guy's like ready to play left or right tackle. Burden's going to start. Burden's going to be on the field at slot. Loveland's going to be on the field a ton, most likely starting. So, yeah, man, great 4 picks.
Turner is going to be interesting to see how. And it's great because the thing with Turner is, like, we didn't have to have him there. Joseph's popping in.
Correct. Yeah, he's going to be in the rotation. He won't be a starter, but he'll be in that 4-man rotation, and that's a really good 4-man rotation they have.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I really liked the pick because we didn't have to have him, but we added that rotational depth. And a guy start in a lot of places. We don't have to force him into the light, so to speak. But that front 4 got stronger with him being able to come in, and now as a rookie, his pressure is less. And
for sure,
you've got to start day 1.
Yeah, no, they that was a really good pick. It really was. So, NFL ready guys. That's what I like. Joe, how you doing today?
What's going on, guys?
It's Friday. Look at it. Friday leads to the dark side, and that leads to Saturday, which leads to Sunday, which then leads to Sunday. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this day wrapping up. My goodness.
I like the 7th round pick, right? The Monangi from Rutgers. I like that pick. I don't know what to make of that Zoff Frazier and Luke Newman, really. Luke Newman, I think, will be good. Could be good rotational piece. He could be a depth piece. He's 6th-round guy, so he obviously needs a project. But then the Ruben Hippolyte pick, the linebacker from Maryland. That one, I'm kind of like I was thinking, okay, we might need may the force be with you. That's in 2 days. So yeah, I guess it's either may the 4th be with you now because we won't be on the 4th. It'll be Sunday.
Yeah.
But Hippolyte, like picking the linebacker was interesting to me because we just lost Sanborn. That's fine, and we needed one, but I don't know much about this kid. It didn't seem like linebacker was going to be an emphasis for this team in the draft. So for him to be our first pick after our little break, right? Be our pick in round 4 was kind of interesting. I don't know much about this kid from Maryland. I do know that every time we see the draft guys from Maryland, they seem okay.
Yeah, I watch him in particular. I watch Big Ten football every year. Like I watch non-Penn State games too if they're Big Ten games. That receiver the Vikings drafted is a good receiver. This Hippolyte guy, he's played a lot of football. He's fast. He's 235 pounds and runs a 4.42. So I think that's more of a situation where they just targeted yes, it was a position of need in my opinion. However, I think they really did kind of target the player more so in that situation. And Ken, interesting fact I found out about Za Frazier, the cornerback. They played Texas and he held Golden to like 3 catches for 45 yards or something when they played.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So for tack there.
Yep. So
you'll see some rookie action in 2 games at least.
And dude, that Frazier runs like they said he ran a 4.36. So, drafting speed, if you miss on these players, you can't say that they didn't draft for speed and athleticism, that's for sure. Even the guard Newman they drafted, supposedly like for a guard, he has a high RAS score and all that stuff. So I like the theme of the draft. Going into the draft for like the last month or so before the draft, I was like the Monangai had literally some of the coolest highlight film of any player in the draft. Like it was so much fun watching him just like truck stick people. So yeah, he seems like he's actually NFL ready for a 7th round pick, which is odd. They're not going to rely on him obviously, but contribute. I think they're expecting him to contribute.
At the very least, they'll start him off on special teams.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the guy had 0 drops in college, like 0 fumbles. Like that's impressive as well. I mean,
absolutely
1 or 2 or something. This guy had 0. So let's hope that continues. There was some interesting Raiders news yesterday, Joseph, which was semi-Raiders news. So your former running back, the trader who plays in Green Bay now, he's been talking to Henry Ruggs, and Ruggs is wanting to make an NFL comeback when he gets out of prison.
Yeah, I read that.
Yeah,
also, Jacobs was allegedly supposed to be with him that night. But Jacobs decided to stay in. Jacobs made a smart move.
Yeah,
made a smart choice.
I mean, but
honestly, dude, like I say, he sort of paid his debt to society. I don't think he got a long enough sentence for what actually happened. But that's what happens when you have money. You can afford good lawyers, and you get less time. So, but. Yeah, I don't know if anyone's going to sign Ruggs. I know the Raiders won't because that's just a PR nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, look at it. We've seen. The guy did his time. He'll get out. If he's, he should be able to have an opportunity to at least make a roster. We saw that with Vic. Obviously, Vic went to prison. What he did was pretty heinous, or what he was a part of was pretty heinous. And then he came back to the league. With Ruggs, I don't know if A. Ruggs was that kind of talent to begin with. There's a talent difference there. But yeah, B, will they give him a shot? Because he could be a PR nightmare.
Well, maybe not for another team, but he obviously can't come back to Vegas. Like the whole town of Las Vegas knows him and knows what he did. And it's like, that's why I said Vegas, it's a PR nightmare. But somebody else, I think they could give him a shot, especially somebody that needs a fast receiver. See, the thing about Ruggs is we'll never really know unless he comes back. And even if he comes back, being out of the league for a couple of years generally takes your game away. But like Ruggs was just starting to ascend when he got in trouble. He was just starting to show what we had drafted him for.
Right.
So,
well, contractually,
that's the most tragic part.
Contractually, though, does anyone own his rights in the NFL, or is he completely free?
The Raiders released him, so I don't know if anybody owns his rights at all. I think he's a free agent.
If they outright released him, then yeah. Because it's interesting. Oh, Jesus. Moonscar. Yeah, because the article he's been working out towards an NFL return in prison. That's gotta be I'll tell you one thing. That's can't be the easiest thing to do strength and conditioning at an NFL level, or to be at an NFL level in a prison. I mean, sure, the guy can do like push-ups, sit-ups all day if he's in a cell and stuff like that. But like, where's he running? Like, honestly, like,
They have a track.
Isn't this the guy who's like rear-ended a lady and her dog, and the car blew up and killed both of them?
Yeah.
Yeah. How they're talking about he's getting out of jail?
Yeah, his sentence is almost done.
Yeah,
Damn, he got off light, man. That's
That's what I said. I feel like he should have got more time, just because of how fast he was going when he hit her. Like, he was hammered and he was driving like 150 something miles an hour, dude.
Well, he was accused of reaching speeds up to 156 miles per hour with a blood alcohol of 0.16, more than double the legal limit. So he only played 20 games in his first 2 seasons. He received a 3 to 10 year sentence. So he's eligible for parole August 5th of 2026. So about a year from now, he's eligible for parole. I mean, yeah, Josh Jacobs is like, he wants to make a comeback, but it's like, dude, I mean, and then you got Josh Jacobs vouching. Well, he's a good kid. He's never been in trouble. I've never seen him do something crazy. He's just one of those guys that had a very unfortunate situation, and something happened from a decision that he made. Well, he obviously, I mean, I get it. Josh Jacobs like, look at this guy's my buddy. You know, we came up together, whatever. But the guy's a year out from even getting a look at parole. And let's say he's a model prisoner and they give him parole next August. So the season he'll get out after camp, right? Or he would get out possibly because let me see, the season starts what? Yeah, like August 1st, right around August 1st usually, right? Yeah, because July is camp. So he'll get out right as teams are breaking camp, or week 1, week 2, somewhere around there is when he'd get out, right? So, like, how realistic is he going to even make a team in 2026 at that point? Roster is set. So it's not like you're just walking into, Hallis Hall or Green Bay or Buffalo and saying, hey, I want to try out. I mean, so maybe 2026, if he gets paroled in 2026, in August of 2026, there's a chance someone will give a look at, but I think he's probably would have to eye 2027 more than anything.
I mean, there's always the trade deadline, like people are going to, as people get injured, people are going to look for people. So there's a chance he could get on a roster in 2026.
Yeah, so he'll be 27. So he's not going to be particularly young. Now, look at the other thing, though. His wear and tear is none, right? I mean, the guy should be healthy, right? He shouldn't have any medical issues, you would assume, taking a 3-year break from football or so. So, I mean, the age thing matters, but also, though, it doesn't if he's physically there, because the injury shouldn't be there. Because that's usually part of what breaks the guys down, right? The wear and tear. Yeah, it's going to be interesting what happens.
Yeah, my thoughts on the matter are just lock them up and throw away the key.
Yeah, if the guy even gets parole, the guy might have to do all 10 years. If he does all 10 years, there's no NFL comeback. So, yeah,
I kind of feel like 10 years would have been a fair sentence because, the lady, he didn't just run into the lady and she died on impact. Like, no, she sat there and burned to death in her car.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like that to me. That's extra aggravating circumstances, dude.
For sure.
And he didn't even go over there and like try to get her out of the car when it was on fire. Like, he sat on the curb and just had his head in his hands like, crap, what did I do? Like, while she burned to death.
Well, Josh Jacobs is advocating for him and putting these stories out there, which I've also found odd that Henry Ruggs is back in the news feed. It's like, dude's in prison. Why is he in the feed? It's Josh Jacobs, running the hype train on this. And it's just like,
well, maybe he ends up in Green Bay.
Yeah, I'm just sorry though. But if I'm Josh Jacobs sitting in Green Bay right now, why would I be like, now is not the time?
Yeah, I mean, Josh, you got to think about the victim's family. Like the fact that you're just considering it, like, oh, he's my friend. Oh, it's football. Oh, it's like, dude, you really need to watch your mouth when you say things like that.
I mean, yeah, he's created a distraction as we go into the season too. It's like, it's just weird. Then he's a Packer, so weird is to be expected. But I just found it odd that became a discussion in a widely publicized and published thing yesterday. It's like something, I know we get hungry for stuff post-draft, right? Because not much happens. But that was like not even on the bingo card for the next year.
Yeah, he would have been better off not saying anything.
Yeah.
The only thing I can think of is he's trying to start garnering support now for him to get paroled in a year. But, what does you think like the Green Bay Packers are going to go to the parole board and say, hey, we'd really like you to parole this guy. We think he's a good kid, blah, 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 blah. And I don't get it. I don't get
it. Would he be saying the same thing if that was his sister who was killed?
Oh, no. Of course.
No. But at the same time, like I agree with Broski that like what he did was heinous, and like the way she died especially was heinous. But I'm also a believer that people can change, and that like I'm big on forgiveness and redemption, and so I hope that he gets out and he changes his life around, and like I do hope the best for him. I think the sentence was a little bit short for what he did, but I'm not the judge. I didn't make that decision, so.
Sure. I believe in, people can change and second chances as well. However, I just feel his second chance should be behind bars. But I do hear what you're saying. If the NFL even considered letting him back in, if he does get paroled, that's, that is very hypocritical.
Yeah, John, he's not a running back. So it's just weird to have it be in the news cycle now, though. That was just the other weird thing. Like, why isn't the news cycle not like how like Ruggs being a topic now just made no sense. Like, it would make sense like this time next year. You know what I mean? But yeah, okay. So back to the and that's weird that kind of news comes out of the division because of the division players that said what Steve Simpson said that the Bears and Mike on the front rush to win the division, Lions and Packers to battle for third. I guess you can just depends on who you listen to. If you listen to John Doran, the Packers are going to run away with the division, and everyone's going to, they're going to be, everyone's going to lose to the Packers, and the Packers will be 6-0 in the division, and they're going to have a historic run and blah blah blah, because they're awesome quarterback who's just tearing apart the NFL. Oh wait, no, he isn't. But anyways, they're going to dominate everyone. If you listen to Bears fans, oh my God, that we have so many weapons. How could we be stopped? And look at the defense is still good. And we got a good D coordinator. You look at the Vikings, like quarterback doesn't matter. We can put anyone back there. We're going to win a lot of games. And Lions fans, if you listen to them, everyone on that roster is an all-pro. So, did I miss anything there, guys?
Yeah, I mean, I'm one of those people, like, all these teams in the division had a good record last year. Really pretty records. We see where that got them. I mean, I really don't consider any team in the NFC North like world beaters by any stretch. And if the Bears hadn't had only one winning season in the last 12, just looking at their roster going into the season, I would be like, hey, it looks like they're set up to have a pretty good year. I'm not getting ahead of myself, nor am I ever going to commit to saying that. I'm in wait and see mode. I've been let down way too many times lately. But I don't. I guess my point is I don't consider the Lions, the Packers, or Vikings world beaters by any stretch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think all four teams on, I hate to say on paper because that was kind of a thing last year, but when you look at these four teams, they all have good rosters. I think like when you look at the Bears team last year, the Bears had a good roster last year. Even the O-line was not, if you compared the level of players they had for that O-line, they were at the same level as a couple other teams that did a lot better than they did. So coaching was an issue last year. And I think last year proved something very good for fans that they need to keep in mind. You can have all the talent on your roster in the world. Coaching isn't up to par. If your offensive scheme isn't up to par, if your play calling isn't up to par, I don't care how much talent you have in that roster, you're not going to get anything out of it. I mean, and we saw that because DJ Moore production slumped, right? Odunze still had a decent rookie year, but I don't think he was even close to what people expected him to have. Caleb statistically had a great year, for a rookie, a real good year, 3,500 yards, not a bad, good touchdown interception ratio. You could see from week one to week end, the progression he made as a player, right, and as a quarterback. Good team, really bad coaching for the most part. So you could see the difference there. And like you look at the Vikings, coaching there made all the difference in the world, right? You took up a washed-up quarterback, and all of a sudden he's a 15-game or 14-game winner. So, coaching last year we learned just how much coaching impacts. And this was the most talented Bears team I had seen, or anyone had seen in a very long time, and yet they did nothing.
Yeah, and one of the things that really aggravated me about going into last season was, do you remember when they selected team captains? They selected 8 team captains. It's like, guys, you're not really a captain if there's 8 of you on the team. Like, it kind of defeats the purpose, It's like he was trying to do this, like, let's be nice to everybody, let's include everyone. Just typical Eberflush nonsense.
Oh, there's your Doran comment for the day there,
let's see. Hey, my day is not officially started until I get that comment.
Bears need a true franchise quarterback before that happens.
He's almost there. John's almost there. I expect a little more out of him. I'm not going to lie.
I'll say this, he thinks he's got a franchise quarterback in Jordan Love, and I'm like, does he? Like, John talks all this smack about Caleb, but let's flip back on Jordan Love. Like, really, it's a lot of hype. Oh, but he was on the bench for 3 years, and he learned all this great stuff. Okay. And then he had a good first starting season. It didn't tear the cover off the ball. It didn't set the league afire. And last year, he's still a good quarterback, but he made a lot of dumb mistakes too. Like in the beginning of the year, he couldn't get to the red zone without throwing an interception. So, I mean,
that's a good point. That's a good point.
This is a big year for Love. He's not a franchise anything yet.
Yeah, and it's one of those things like what people say about Caleb, how they joke around and like, hey, he cries, he paints his nails, all this type of stuff. I'm like, that part of the reasons why I did not want the Bears to go to draft him. You know what I mean? So like, I understand the criticism. If he was on another team, I'd be saying the same thing. So I have to take that, and which I do. And I actually add to it sometimes as well. But let's not get lost though. Jordan Love, he's not exactly he's kind of like a fairy himself. You know what I mean? Like he's not like a manly man. He's like a kind of a fairy, actually, So it's like, let's not act like Jordan Love's some kind of Mr. Tough Guy, manly quarterback or something out there. He's kind of a princess in his own right, Yeah.
That's a spicy meet the ball.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Jordan Love might have to play with those spicy meat the bottles.
Damn, dude. He said he's a fairy. Damn.
I mean, but
honestly, though, if you look at Jordan Love, like the interesting thing is, like the Packers the Packers paid him off half of a season. Like, if we're being honest, because his first year, everybody now the narrative has shifted to, oh, Jordan Love had a great first year, right? But he actually only had a good back half of the year. Like, the first half of the year was rough, and I remember him throwing 3 picks and the Raiders beating him. Like, and then all of a sudden, the last half of the season, he turned it on and went to the playoffs and stuff. Then last year, he had a mediocre season. So really, if you look at his 2 full seasons of starting, he has one good half a season.
Yep. Yeah, I remember that at the beginning of that year, Packer fans were like, "Oh, it's Clifford time. Oh, we might have to look for a quarterback. This Love thing is going to work." And then they turned it on the second half, and all of a sudden he's walking on water, turning water into wine. He's the Messiah. You know, he's the next franchise quarterback that's going to the Hall of Fame. Blah 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 blah. Meanwhile, they were mediocre, and yeah, sure, they get the playoffs to just lose in the first, be one and done again. So I mean. You know,
and honestly, no, go ahead, finish. I'm sorry, I thought you were done.
Yeah, no, the last piece of that, and the good second half of the one season he had was okay. They beat up the Cowboys, which of course they were going to beat up the Cowboys because the Cowboys are the worst choke artists ever. But then they know McCarthy, they know everything McCarthy does. So it's like going into the game when you have the other team's playbook and you know exactly what they're going to call. Love didn't even have to do much. I mean, it's now he's going with the sniffing the playoffs, blah blah blah. But you know, it's perfect for losers, yeah. But you know, here's a fan base where they've won the division a lot because the division was mediocre at best for many years. The teams had their own dysfunctions. The Bears definitely had dysfunctions. The Lions had big time dysfunction. The Lions, the Vikings were probably the least dysfunctional of the 3 in some ways. They went to the playoffs out of a mediocre division and did nothing. Aaron Rodgers, for the great player that he is, has won as many NFC championships as Rex freaking Grossman.
Yeah,
hey, Dorn,
I mean,
I would just throw in there that Jordan Love is 0-1 against the Raiders, just to let you know. So if we're losers, then
yeah, I mean, Jordan Love's. I think he's a very talented quarterback. I think he has a lot of potential. I think Caleb is a very talented quarterback with a lot of potential. Will either player realize their potential? We'll see. But yeah, like I said, I don't think any team in the North. There's no world beaters in that division right now. They all have some weakness. They all have some glaring weaknesses, and you know they should in theory be solid. We'll see if the Bears can join that club, but all teams need some work as well.
I think that Caleb and Jordan Love will both realize their potential, and I think it'll lead to a great rivalry between them. I think that's a possibility. But I just want to throw out there, I'm not trying to crap on Jordan Love. I think he's a talented quarterback, but I definitely think this year is a make or break kind of year for him, dude. If you really look at
that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. That's the type of stuff Packers fans will be like, oh, Caleb has to prove it this year or nothing. I'm like, dude, it's year 2 for Caleb with a new head coach. They're going to give him 4 years to prove it. It's not make or break anything actually this year. For Jordan Love, it really could be. Isn't he going into year 5 right now?
Yeah,
this is his 5th year, right? So it's dude, this is Caleb's going to be his 2nd year. This is going to be year 5 for Jordan Love.
6. Year 6 for Jordan Love. 3rd
year 6. Okay, so yeah, so it's kind of heed your own words there, kind of thing too. So yeah, we'll see how they pan out. But the Packers too, kind of what you were saying. I just want to say one more thing, Ken. How you were touching on over the years, how they used to always win the division. The division wasn't really that great. I mean, that's kind of how I viewed the Packers. They were kind of the best of the worst, And it's for having, in my opinion, 2 of the top 10 greatest quarterbacks of all time for 30 plus years, each guy won 1 Super Bowl. To me, I can't knock them winning Super Bowls. That's terrific. I mean, you guys won, Super Bowl at Favre, one with Rodgers. Hats off, you guys did it, But really, taking a step back and looking at it, you would think those guys probably would have won more than one Super Bowl each. So to me, I could see where people could make an argument they actually, didn't live up to the billing as much as they should have.
And I've been saying that basically for Love, this is a make or break year, especially with the contract. You got the massive contract based off that half season, 1 season, whatever. Even Packer fans at the beginning that his first year starting weren't like the first half of that year, they're like, oh, this guy's not going to be it. I mean, the trash talk out of Green Bay and their own guy was terrible. This is make or break for him. He's either going to be worth the 50-some mil a year, or they're going to have to start going in another direction. And another guy who's in the same boat in the division is Goff. After this season, the Lions can get out of that contract. So if Goff doesn't produce this year, it's make or break for Goff too. For Caleb, it's his sophomore year with a new head coach. So I think there's going to be a sophomore slump on some level. But some people are like, yeah, but he's going to be much, much better because of the new coaching. And so that, we might not, it's like what, rookie year, take 2. I mean, I still think he'll have somewhat of a sophomore slump. He'll probably look better in some areas. This offense should look a lot better in a lot of areas. But Caleb is going to slump some this year. He's going to have some statistical areas that are not going to be as good. Excuse me. So, but like you said, I think he's got, probably 2 more years before we judge it. Maybe this year, next year. Next year is going to be a make or break year for Caleb on some level, right? He's either going to show he's that quarterback after next season, year 3, or he's not. And Jordan Love is in that position right now. And Packer fans, it's funny because you bring it up with Packer fans and they they act like, oh, no, you guys have bums, and they try to deflect. But it's like, dude, your guy is in his 3rd year starting, 6th year league. This is make or break year. He's either going to prove this year that he's the guy you're going to lean on and call your franchise quarterback, or they're going to start looking for, okay, what's coming down the pipeline the next 2 or 3 years at the quarterback position so that we can get our next quarterback. And that's the reality of the business.
And plus, Jordan Love's a fairy princess in his own right.
Who throws little tantrums in tunnels. Why did we lose? It's not fair. And when I look back at what the Bears have done quarterback-wise, because John's like, oh, they keep drafting busts. Okay, Trubisky in 18 played really, really good ball. In 19, he played pretty good ball. In 20, he didn't play great ball. I think he was restricted a lot, and I think that he found a good home in Buffalo. They fit him. He fits them. When he went to the Steelers, he never really had a shot. It was a reach to take Trubisky when they took him, but he was a decent quarterback. In 18, he was good. I mean, he was really good in 18. But that's why they judge him over multiple years and not 1 year. If you look at Fields, he's a weird case too, because statistically speaking, his numbers improve every year. The team got better around him to a certain degree. He was 4-2 last year for the Steelers until they decided to play Russ over him. So Fields is like, and then he goes to the Jets, which to me was just like a bad move. Like, he would have been better off going to Miami to be Tua's backup. So when Tua gets concussion in week 2, he just takes that team over, because I don't think he'd ever hand the reins back. He would be their starter for the next couple years. So Fields, honestly, is a bust. I think, John Dorn, your argument is bad. It's not that they've taken bad quarterbacks; it's that they've had completely horrendously bad situations around these quarterbacks, and in some cases took talent and ruined it.
Yeah, I mean, I have a slightly different take. I mean, Fields definitely wasn't put in the best situation. I definitely consider Mitch and Fields both bust for whatever reason. End result is they're bust. But what I will say, Fields, he's kind of getting like that Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, like third chance kind of thing right now. So if he can't, I don't think he will, but I mean, if he can't prove it this year in the Jets, seriously, everyone and their mother should close the book on him.
Well, he went to such a bad place. I mean, like, why are you going to another team that's dysfunctional, has no O-line?
At some point, though, he has to be held accountable. And it's like the Jets do have a good O-line. You know, they have some running backs. They have some guys to throw to. You know, we'll see. That's all I can say. But yeah, I mean, in my mind, they are busts. And you know, it's hard to hit on. It is. I mean, the Bears. You know, it's the Bears. Like it's very difficult for them to draft a correct quarterback and have him in a good situation too.
It's hard to hit on a good quarterback and then be in a good situation. And I think Trubisky, I agree with you that these guys, for the Bears at least, were both busts, right? But like Trubisky's still in the league, still having a good career with Buffalo. And I honestly, I think if you ask them in Buffalo, if they say, hey, if Trubisky had to start 5 games, how confident are you? And they would say, well, we're going to go 4-1 in those 5 games. They love Trubisky. I mean,
I mean, they love him, but I mean, is he really a good quarterback, or is he just like Josh Allen's like buddy? You know what I mean? Like, that's to me why he has his job.
He fits their system. He fits what, like, his skills fit their needs and vice versa. So, like, I thought it was interesting with Trubisky when he got, he took the shot at free agency. Buffalo said, hey, go do great things. Best of luck to you. Go get paid and have a good career. And then he goes to the Steelers, and the Steelers draft Pickett at 20, and they're like, talking how Pickett's going to be the starter before week 1 even. And so really Trubisky was given no shot. And what I found interesting was when Trubisky was then a free agent again, he just went back to Buffalo and didn't talk to anyone else. He just went to Buffalo and said, where's the contract? And he even tried. He just knew that was home. With Fields is an interesting case because, like, he was having success in Pittsburgh last year. He was having success in Chicago. It wasn't burning the house down, tearing the doors off it, but he was having success.
Yeah, Ken, he definitely wasn't having success in Chicago. Like, I can't say that, man.
His records improved. I mean, he was having.
He won 5 games 1 year. You know what I mean? So, like, I don't know how that's. He never threw for 2,600 yards in a season. So, like, I don't really see he missed games every year for injuries because he plays like a knucklehead. So, like, I definitely can't say he had a success in Chicago.
Well, I mean, I hate to go to a Tom Mitch argument, but statistically speaking, he did. And you could see the improvement. You could see how he
was. What stats? Because it's not passing yards, it's not completion percentage, it's not wins. Like, what stat?
The win stats, the team stats. So I hate when people say quarterback. Oh, the win stats, the stat. Like, that's not the quarterback stat. That's a team stat. And I'll say that for any quarterback. I don't care who it is.
And he was like 13-35 as a starter or something. I don't know how that's good.
Bears sucked around him for sure. As a team, we sucked overall record-wise. But that's not all. That's not because of Justin Fields. That's, I mean, we saw that last year. Look at all the talent we had. So DJ Moore is a shitty wide receiver because we only won 5 games. It's a team stat.
But just look at this. So take a look at the numbers. And what's his career completion percentage? Like, what's his?
Yeah, it's like it's right at like 59%. He's never thrown for he's never thrown for 2,600 yards in a season, and he's a quarterback. I mean, he's never. His most touchdowns in a season was 17. He's double-digit INTs. Like, I mean, what are we talking?
So hold on. All right. So his career. I'm bringing the stats up because I have to remember where we were about a year ago when we were talking trade and keep him. So, like, when we were talking about keep him or draft, right? I had his stats. His stats were actually better from year to year. Like, his turnover to a touchdown ratio improved. His yards per completion improved. His completion percentages improved. You could see what all I'm trying to say, and see, this is where people take it way too fucking far when I make this argument, is that there was improvement every year. You could see improvement, like he was improving. Was it like tear the doors off? No, it wasn't. But you could see how he was improving as a quarterback and as a player. And that's really all I was trying to say on him. Not that, like, he was becoming a world beater, the best quarterback in the history of quarterbacks or anything like that. But you would see that, okay, there were improvements happening within Justin. His decision-making process was getting better. His looks were getting better. There were things that were happening that were getting better. But like at the end of the day, I wasn't upset when we let him go and we went with Caleb because I trusted in Poles. So, for instance, his completion percentage went from 58.9 to 60.4 to 61.4. Last year, 65.8. Every year, that percentage is going up. His yardage went from 1870 to 2240 to 2560. Last year, he only played 6 games. He had 1,100 yards. So, once again, it was going up. His averages, 6.9, 7.1. Now he's at 6.9, 6.9. So that's about the same. Touchdown to interception ratio, 7 to 10, 17 to 11, 16 to 9, 5 to 1. And that ratio got better. Sacks were, 36, 55, 44, and 16. So he had a lot of sacks, right? His QBR, 31.4, 56.3, 46.9, 50.8. So there was you were starting to see improvement. Now, it dipped that last year in Chicago a little bit, I'll grant. But you could see where his numbers were improving. And then he was also taking less risk running the ball by year 3 in Chicago. So he was becoming more of a pocket presence kind of guy. So, you could see the improvement. I'm not saying he wasn't a bust in Chicago. I'm not saying, any of that. What I'm saying is you could see that the improvement was being made and he was tracking. Now, Caleb I think was the right call for the Bears. I think he is a better quarterback, right? But I'm not ready to say Justin as an NFL player is going to be a bust, and I wouldn't put him in.
Okay, Kenny, you done? Kenny, you done?
And I wouldn't put him. I wouldn't put him in like Johnny Manziel territory as bust. But I wouldn't compare him to Baker because I think Baker is a great quarterback and got a raw deal. So I wouldn't put him there either.
Yeah, and one of my issues with Justin is I saw no improvement. He's the same quarterback he was as a rookie, same knucklehead decisions, same knucklehead everything. Like, he didn't learn from his mistakes ever. Then that was part of the problem. And that's also part of the problem that Tomlin saw from him in Pittsburgh, I believe, which is the reason why they benched him right away for old-ass Russell the Muscle and then didn't give him a contract after he left, after the season. So, yeah, I didn't see improvement in Fields. I really didn't. That was actually one of the things I felt that if you at least saw improvement, maybe there'd be a ray of hope they keep him. But I knew they were going to trade him because he didn't show improvement.
Well, I just showed you how he did improve, so he did.
But you guys are talking about kind of two different things. Ken showed the numbers, and the numbers seem to back up that argument, but Broski's talking about the eye test.
I'm talking about both. The numbers really don't. If you go from 17 touchdowns and 11 picks to 16 touchdowns and 9 picks the next year, that's not improvement. You know what I mean? And you have to factor in the games he missed too. So it's he's still missing games. You're not improving. He's not learning from his mistakes. He's still taking unnecessary hits. He's doing dumb shit. He's turning the ball over. His completion percentage sucks. You know what I mean? You could split hairs between 59% and 60.5% or 61%. Both those suck. You know what I mean?
I'm not with Broski. I agree. Especially he still takes unnecessary risks, the fumbles, and so I agree with you wholeheartedly. He had taken less and less risks as his time in Chicago went on, though. I mean, was it to the point where you and I would be happy? No. The thing with Fields is his progression, as far as learning from his mistakes and fixing those things. And this is a big reason I think why we got rid of him too, is too slow. His reaction time to correct these issues, it's proactive. It's not this short flash to bang. It's a long fuse. And I think that's part of why he went. And I think I agree with you. I think that's why Tomlin kind of benched him for Russell Wilson because, he's winning games, but he's still taking the risks that he shouldn't be taking anymore. And so in that fact, I agree with you, Broski. So, but I'm not ready to write Fields off in the league as a bust yet. I think this team, the Jets, is going to be where he's going to prove he's either a quarterback that all that talent, we see that he has the talent. So whether he can use that talent and be a good quarterback or not, this is a make or break year for him as well.
Yeah. And I agree with that. Like he has like a fresh start, and the team seems to be his for the next 2 years. So, he's getting a third chance on life to prove himself. And let's see if he does.
Oh, here's the more love for the love. You know, he made the playoffs with all rookies. Oh, like they were so young. Oh, but Love still sucked last year, so whatever. You can't talk constructively about Packer players, Packer fans. You just can't. Like all we really said about Love that started all of John's comments was that this is a make or break year for him. He's either going to prove he's the franchise or he's not. Because so far he hasn't. But the Packer fans, the second,
and I think that's a completely fair take.
Yeah,
I think, and if you were to ask anybody who's not from the North, like, is this a make or break year for Jordan Love? I think many would agree.
But for Green Bay fans, it's just the fact that he wears that green and gold, the best quarterback ever.
Yeah, for Green Bay fans, it's blasphemy.
I'm jealous, John says. I'm so jealous of Jordan, Pansy Boy Love. No, I'm not. All right. You know what I am jealous of, though, is your right guard. Because I like the kid. I actually met the kid. I was hoping the Bears would draft him, and you guys took him. So, yeah, I mean, that's about it, John. I am definitely not jealous that you have Jordan Love. I will take Caleb over Jordan Love any day of the week. Right now. We'll see at the end of the season if I'll say that. But right now, I'd take Caleb over Jordan because Caleb's got a much higher upside than Jordan Love does. Like, I don't see Jordan Love's ceiling being MVP right now. Caleb could still reach that ceiling. I think Jordan, I mean, I get it. The Packers had so much invested in Love. They had 3 years invested in him before he even took a snap as a starter. So I get why Packer fans have to be invested in him. And I thought when they drafted Jordan Love, that was a good move. Just Aaron Rodgers ruined it. That's all. He stayed here too long. Then he forced Goody. They forced Goody into making a quick decision on stop smoking crack. John, I have not found your crack stash yet, nor have I looked. I'm sorry.
Oh, John wants to jump on.
I know he's getting froggy this morning, but that's the only thing. You can't talk about the Packers constructively without them getting butthurt like John is right now. I mean, honestly, I'm just saying that Jordan Love, it's a make or break year. I'm not saying he's a bust. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback either. Like, he's been a pretty decent, good quarterback. He had a really good second half of his first year starting. Last year, he had a decent year. It did, set the world on fire. He had his moments, but he also had his moments where he was like, okay. They had more than a few games that were last-second buzzer beaters. They blocked a field goal or kicked the field goal. So, I mean, not like Green Bay was setting the world on fire last year as a team either. I look at let's see. I love how he changed the butt hurt. Packers the most stable team in the NFC North. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Like, I've said that. Joe, have I not said the Packers are the most stable team in the North this year?
Yeah, that.
So, John, I don't know what you're smoking this morning. You must have found your own crack stash because you guys are the most stable team. All we're saying, and you can't handle this, it seems, that Green Bay ego is so fragile, is that we're saying this is a make or break year for your guy.
Yeah, he's got to show it. Or else, if he doesn't, if he has another year like last year, I think the Packers are going to genuinely look at, should we be paying this guy $55 million a year?
Yeah. And I agree with Broski. I think
that's a fair question to ask. If he has another year like last year, that's a fair question to ask. Because if you can get the same production for $30 million a year, why wouldn't you?
Motown with getting in there. They've been the most stable third place team in the North. I mean, Broski, here's my thing with the Packers, right? I think, being two division guys. Oh, I just lost Joe. He must have lost signal. Hopefully he'll be back. Broski, here's the thing with the Packers, right? Like, they've been stuck in mid, right? Like, because they keep going to the playoffs and keep getting those late first round draft picks, they're never really to get that game changer in the first round. You know what I mean? So they've been able to maintain a certain level of good, but they can't get great where they're sitting.
Yeah, there's a lot of similarities between the Packers and the Steelers in that regard, honestly. And hey, that's and I can't even say the Packers are the best of the worst anymore. So all I'm saying is this, there's still a lot more stable, better run organization than the Bears, obviously. That being said, none of these teams in the North have been setting the world on fire. It's there for the taking for whoever wants to step up and take it.
Yeah, I mean, I think any one of the teams in this division can win it this year. The defenses are all good. They've got every team has weaponry. Every team has, we don't know about JJ, but we'll say adequate quarterback play. I was just trying to worry about you, John. I mean, you're worrying about how hot Hutch looked. I'm like, hey, dude, I mean, I know you like Jordan Love and all, but you don't have to empathize with him that much. But it's going to be an interesting season. But the Packers just need to do something. I hate to say this, but the Packers need to just be terrible for the Packers' sake, if that makes sense. They just need to have a bad season and get some really good draft picks this year or for the next draft. For the Packers, to be honest with you, if you're a Packers fan, would you want to be 9 and not win 9 games, make the playoffs, and have another bad, mid draft pick and stay mid, say, well, yeah, we made the playoffs? Or would you rather win 3 games and get a top 10 pick that could then elevate your team to being a deep run playoff team? Because you've got a young core. But now if you get some better draft picks, and some better talent you can draft in there, would it be, we see what's happened for Chicago, Detroit, Minnesota, how they've been able to add a lot of really good talent via the draft. The Packers haven't been able to add that level of talent because they've been in this mid-tier for so long.
I hear you, man. And it's almost like they just need to push. They got to go all in one off season too. I feel like it's commendable from one point of view that they're always relevant. You know what I mean? But at some point, when you feel you have a window, you do have to go all in at some point.
Well, John says it's Super Bowl or bust, and year 3 in a rebuild from Rodgers. So I guess it is a rebuild. They said it wasn't a rebuild, but okay. Super Bowl or bust? Well, it's going to be a bust, John. I hate to tell you. And on my last bad take, we have to bid you adieu. Everyone have a great weekend. We'll see you back here Monday. Broski, you going to come on Sunday morning?
Noon? I should be able to make it, yeah. I should be around this Sunday, so I should be there, yeah.
Everyone enjoy. If you're in the Florida area, it's Bash at the Beach week at Panama City Beach. So ride safe out there this weekend, guys. Have a great weekend. JB is next. And don't forget the Packer show, the Packer Brothers, boys, whatever the hell they think they are. They're on tonight at 7. We'll see you guys later. Have a great weekend. Thanks, everyone.
Have a good weekend, Ken.
Yeah, have a great weekend, broski.